So, is part-time YouTube Academy actually worth it? In today's video, I give my personal review on Ali Abdaal's part-time YouTube Academy from a real person, and we're going to be talking about 4 things: who it's for, who it's not for, my actual results from the program, and does it actually deliver? Stay tuned, we're going to be diving into it right now. Hey hustlers, welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Kevin. I'm actually a YouTuber, former pharmacist, and business consultant. And on this channel, we explore the people, the strategies, and tools that help us live a more kick-ass productive life. Frequently on this channel, I like to give my insights on digital marketing, high-ticket sales, and creating digital assets as well. And also on this channel, I like to document my life at 30. So if that's up your alley, hey, consider subscribing to this channel. But let's dive into the real reason why you guys are here. You guys want to know if Ali Abdaal's part-time YouTube Academy is actually worth it. So like I said earlier, in today's video, we are going to review Ali Abdaal's part-time YouTube Academy in depth. We're going to be talking about, are the people, processes, and tools in this program actually worth it? My results of the program, who it's for, who it's not for, and does part-time YouTube Academy actually deliver as well? These were pretty much the things I was very curious when I was looking into Ali's program, but since it was the first iteration when I invested, it didn't have any of these things. Why? Because it was just starting. So my goal today is just to give a realistic perspective and my experiences of this program and the actual pros and cons of this program as well. And by the way, guys, this video is going to be a long one, so I'll leave timestamps below if you want to skip to a certain part, but I highly suggest that if you're going to shell out the money for a program like this, hey, make sure to understand and do your research up front as well. So before we start off, this review is going to be a little bit different from other people's because I'm not going to really talk about the vanity metrics. I'm not going to talk about, hey, I hit 1,000 subscribers in X amount of months, because here's the truth, those type of metrics don't help people. And the truth is, it makes really great clickbait. But for these type of results, your mileage may vary. Your niche might be different. Your audience might be different. There's so many different external factors that isn't really helpful to an individual person. At least that's what I thought. So I wanted to show you the actual deliverables that I've kind of completed during the program, how it's helping my trajectory of my channel. And I paid my hard-earned cash for the executive edition, the highest edition. So I pretty much have visibility over everything. I don't think there's too many students that actually paid for this, but I wanted to build a relationship with Ali and meet other people taking YouTube very seriously as well. And by the way, shameless plug, if you want to support me and my channel, I would really appreciate it if you guys would use my affiliate link. You can just go to refugeehustle.com/PTYA, part-time YouTube Academy. I'll leave the link below. And if you do sign up for the affiliate link, hey, hit me up on Circle. That's the messaging platform that we use on Ali's course. And I love to be able to connect and see if I can support in any way along your YouTube journey. The truth is, YouTube can be quite lonely, and we don't have to do it alone. It's not easy, and sometimes it just helps just having a friend behind the scenes as well. And it supports both my channel and my editor as well, at no cost to you. All right, so let's dive back into the video. So the first thing we're going to cover is kind of like my background, my story. The question that you're probably wondering is, why should I listen to this bald 32-year-old Asian guy, right? So for myself, I was the generation that grew up with YouTube. We actually remember what life was like before mobile phones and social media. And my generation was the actual one that grew up with all these technologies. And I remember back in 2006, I used to watch all the Asian YouTube channels, right? If you guys know what I'm talking about, you know that there's like the classic Wong Fu, there's the classic Just Kidding Films, there's the Niga Higas of the world. YouTube was a very different world back then. And I don't know, there was always that piece of me that wanted to shoot content just like them, right? And be YouTube stars. And I guess there's a little bit of me inside that still wants to be like that to this day. So it wasn't until I actually pursued a career as a pharmacist where I couldn't find a job in my hometown of Boston, and I actually flew out to California for a job. And the biggest thing of my life happened. I got to live with these YouTube stars. I got to see the behind the scenes of everything. I was roommates with the channel I used to watch, Just Kidding Films, Joe from there and a few others as well. And I remember that day, I was like, man, if they could do it, why can't I? And so I tried. I remember starting up my channel in 2015. I didn't know what I really wanted to talk about. And so I just picked what I knew. I talked about pharmacy and I blew up in that pharmacy space. But there came a time where I didn't really want to talk about pharmacy anymore. There were certain people just following me for pharmacy, and I wanted to grow beyond that. What I didn't have at the time was I didn't have a personal brand. And eventually when I decided to leave pharmacy altogether and pivot more into digital entrepreneurship through digital marketing, high ticket sales, that type of world, I felt very lost with my channel. The thing that I had so much direction with was kind of faded over time. And so I started doing more and more business videos as well. And I started doubting myself whether I could actually do it. Like, I would see some of my other peers, super small channels, and all of a sudden they blow up to 100,000, 400,000, 500,000, even a million. And here I was just burning hours and hours at a time and creating tons of videos, but not really having my voice or having a strong personal branding. Like, it's like that feeling where you know the feeling of where you want your channel direction to go, but you can't put it in words, or it's hard to convey that through video. And that's what I struggled. And more so this year, my views started tanking. And I was like, what the heck am I doing wrong? I'm not gonna lie, guys. At some point, I actually wanted to give up on this dream of being a YouTube, creating a real career on YouTube as well. And so it felt really discouraging. So I knew I had to do something different, something better. And so at the time, I started investing into different YouTube programs. And yeah, these helped a little bit, but didn't really help me build a personal brand. And then my editor one day came knocking at my door. He was like, hey, you should really take a look at Ali Abdaal's part-time YouTube Academy. And I was like, Ali Abdaal? I think I've seen him like here and there. I was subscribed to him at the time, but I didn't really watch his videos. So I checked him out and I was like, man, this guy, he was like me. He was in healthcare and transitioned onto YouTube. He talks about tech. He talks whatever the heck he wants about. And he has such a loyal and following with a strong personal brand. And he's meeting people in the digital marketing space that I want to meet, like Noah Kagan and all these other people, right? So I took the leap of faith. I invested in the highest tier because I want to meet people just like myself. While it was great having friends who were super successful on YouTube, YouTube has kind of changed, and I want to meet people who recently built up that following, who have a really strong personal brand. So honestly, I pulled out my card, paid for the highest tier, having no idea what this program was going to be like. But I knew that if Ali is as transparent as he is on video, you know, it will only help me get to a place where I can build a channel like Ali's as well for my personal brand. So that's why I'm in the academy. So I guess you can say this was kind of like my last sort of desperation before quitting YouTube as well. Now let's take a step back. Let's talk about you and your story and how we're going to talk about if this is worth it or not for yourself. So maybe you've seen or follow Ali Abdaal and you're just like, he's been talking about the part-time YouTube Academy and you're still unsure about it. Or maybe you're actually on the fence of investing into part-time YouTube Academy, but when you're trying to look for reviews, you couldn't find any, right? Or you could be that third person who is a little bit more price conscious and you're just like, man, is it actually really worth it? Money doesn't grow on trees. I don't got all the money in the world, so I need to know, am I going to get results from this? Regardless of who you are, at the end of the day, you want clarity of what's in the program and does it actually deliver. And the problem is you just don't know anyone real taking the program. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to fill in that gap. Because whatever it is, if you don't start your YouTube journey, you're never going to start it. Because the truth is, starting a YouTube channel is already hard enough. And if Ali can provide you the people, the processes, and tools to help you just get started and launch a successful YouTube program, isn't it worth it, right? And to find this out, we're going to be talking about the 4 things I mentioned earlier. Is it worth it? What I've personally done with the program, who it's for, and who I believe it's not for as well. So let's dive straight into it. So first question, is it worth it? And the reason why I sometimes hate the word worth it, although it catches your attention, it doesn't really mean much because it can mean a lot of different things to everyone as well, right? But when we're ever talking about business transformation, or whenever I look at a program, I like to look at 3 things: people, processes, and tools. PPT, not PowerPoint, right? So as I go through these sections, I'm going to talk about what was the most important thing for me and what I would recommend to a friend who's taking it to get the most bang for their buck. So let's dive into it. So let's take a look at the first thing, the process. Now, when I think of process, these are the actual tangible skills of YouTube as well. And also the step-by-step way of going from idea to actually launching your video as well, specifically with YouTube. So if you guys don't know, Ali Abdaal actually spent a stupid amount back into his business. He has an analytics team, he has a writer, he has an editor, he focused, and his camera gear is top notch as well. In addition to that, he's bought pretty much almost every single YouTube course out there, spent hours and hours trying to get the best information out there to implement for his channel. So for me as a YouTuber, it's stupid not to leverage that, because the way I think about it is that he's pretty much done all the research and he's shortcutting it as well and distilling all the most valuable pieces from all those pieces of content as well. And so here were the major things that we kind of updated on my team over at my YouTube channel. So one of the first things that we did was build out a second brain on Notion. We modeled after his content calendar. We actually capture all our ideas in Notion as well, and we move them step by step by step. And what was really helpful for all this too is because prior to this, I was so freaking unorganized. Like how I would do it was like, maybe I would write in my notebook over here and then like kind of relay it orally, like through a voice recording to my editor. We really did not have a solid process. And in my head, I was like, I know I need to digitalize this. I know I need to have more structure in terms of this, but you know, I found it so overwhelming, and it was so much easier taking what is already worked for Ali, just changing a few things and implementing it for my business. The second thing that we actually implemented as well is creating target market avatars. So basically creating the people that we really want to reach with the channel. So if you guys are in marketing, you probably know that this is an essential exercise everybody tells you to do, but you don't do it. And whenever you get one of those target avatar worksheets, you're probably like filling it out as you go, just like ignoring it, right? And then Ali showed me his target avatar, and I was like, holy crap, I am blown away, because it's to such specific detail. Like, what do they like to eat? What do they do on their free time? What do they do on the weekends? What do they hate? All these things. And he had such, you know, I've seen these questions before, but the amount of detail it took that he put in time showed me, hey, I need to be spending more time into that. So we actually created 2 or 3 customer avatars as well for my channel. And I was like, man, if a 7-figure YouTube business can do this, we definitely need to implement this as well. So we did that. And the other thing that we did too in terms of process is actually increase our production value here. I've always used really great cameras, but one thing I really sucked at was lighting. I actually used a ring light for a long time. Ring lights, in my opinion, still look good, but people like this like dark shadow look as well. If you're taking a look at this, what we did on my team was we really upgraded our professional setup so that every single time we look a lot better. We have accent lights in the back, we have a lot of different things. And so if it wasn't for Ali and modeling after what he did, we wouldn't be able to have higher production quality videos. And I can't wait to go back to my LA studio, just because that's my real studio, and I can't wait to play with the design of the studio and make it look really, really good. So I'm really excited for that too. So these were the things I actually implemented, but when I take a look back at everything, I just modeled what he did, made a few edits. And if I were to take a higher level looking down as well, I would say the biggest value was that I could just copy or model what Ali did and apply it to my business. I didn't have to go back and forth thinking about, oh, is this right? Did I do this good enough? Like literally, I have the example in front of me. And that should be a model. Like, hey, if I want a 7-figure YouTube business, this is what it takes as well. I don't have to waste time, build a system, and then ask and doubt myself whether, hey, is this good enough? And there's a beauty in terms of that process too. One of the things I love about his process is that I could just trust the system. I didn't really need to worry anymore. And so I could focus purely on execution, making better content for my channel as well. And it would save me so much time, not only because I was modeling, but I could actually see like, what did Ali actually focus his time on and what did he not care about? For example, for me, I was spending hours and hours on YouTube SEO when, you know, I've kind of heard it like from other channels as well, saying YouTube SEO doesn't matter. And it's been such a huge marketing strategy of my channel, honestly. But when Ali said it, I was like, okay, he has a personal brand. I trust him. I need to do the same thing. I need to make sure that I'm not focusing on hours and hours of SEO, right? And I could also see what did he hyper focus on as well. So he would go to such extents of doing thumbs and titles. And we all know that's the most important thing, because if you don't hook your audience, how are you going to get them to watch your content as well? And it's not, when I say hyper focus, I mean really hyper focus. His team writes at least 10 headlines per video, every single video. They shoot at least 50 to 100. He was even sharing information to us, like Matt D'Avella. He shoots about like 500 thumbnails and stuff just for one video. And it goes to the attention of detail of what works and what doesn't. And he was able to share the insights to me as well. What actually gets higher click-through rate, meaning what do people actually click on and what do people don't click on? That's not something that you get every single day when you're looking at a YouTube channel as well. How often do you get to look at a 7-figure YouTube channel and see the data behind that? That is so valuable. And that's what I took away from. That was one of the most important things. So if I were to give a rating 1 through 10, 10 being the best, so I would give, no lie, a 10 out of 10. This, in my opinion, was the most important thing out of the program, at least for me personally, where I'm at. I already have a lot of friends in YouTube, but the process is what I was really lacking. If I were to buy this program again, this would be the #1 thing I would buy. Why? Because it teaches you how to do it right straight from the beginning. I guarantee you, if I use Ali's processes, it would save me so many hours. It would save me so much heartbreak of seeing my channel go up, down, up, down. Like, I'm telling you, this is probably the biggest thing that will make your life so much easier. And no lie, I've actually watched like a few of these smaller channels in Ali's community just start blowing up. They got their first 500 or whatever. And I thought that was very inspiring, and it just goes to show the method to the madness as well, that his strategy really works. But keep in mind, when I bring that up, your mileage may vary with like subscribers and stuff. Those are vanity metrics, like I said earlier. So don't focus on those, just focus on the deliverables. So let's go into the second thing. Let's dive into kind of the tools review. And when I talk about tools, I'm talking about things like templates, kind of like the tools that we use in the program as well to navigate everything. So I'll give you my few cents on all of that as well. So in terms of the tools, one of the things I didn't really use in this program are kind of like the course replays and all that. Honestly, the way that Ali had it set up was that it was a live cohort. So he would teach 2 hours at a time, almost like 2 to 3 times a week, depending how you're advanced. I showed up to pretty much every single session, and they were highly, highly valuable. And during those sessions, I would actually take really, really good notes, because I was like, I am not taking the time to rewatch this stuff again. So I really didn't rewatch too much of the replays. So I highly, highly recommend that if you do this program, that you actually show up to live events, because there's always a Q&A at the end, and you can ask a lot of your questions from the lecture at that time as well. But it gives you peace of mind knowing that if you miss something, it's not the end of the world. You can just always go back and figure that out later. Now, the second thing that I found super, super valuable are kind of like the Notion worksheets. So during the course, he actually gives you some worksheets, gives you a standard list of questions to, hey, ask you, what is your target niche? What area or industry are you focusing on? How do you script your videos? And he would provide those templates. To me, these were actually valuable because I could just copy and paste, and I didn't really have to think too much. And he would also give examples, right? He gave us an example of one of the scripts he was working on, which was like, man, this is so much more in detail. I need to be better at that. Or like I mentioned earlier, he would have his target avatar, and it would just tell me and show me how in depth I have to be if I want to take YouTube seriously as well. To me, it's not enough just giving the worksheets, because you can just fill it out, but how do you know if it's any good? And it's nice to see the thought and detail that Ali provided in this as well. So those were some of the good things, but what are some of the things that could have been improved? Well, first of all, we were using multiple platforms. We were using Zoom, we were using PTYA, we were using Circle, right? And there were so many different tools, and sometimes the links wouldn't work and whatnot. I realized it was the first time launching a program like this, so it was all over the place. But sometimes as a newbie, I would be so confused. I'm like, hey, what exactly is PTYA? Oh yeah, that's where we host our courses. Or what is Circle? Oh yeah, that's a community thing that we have as well. So it would get a little bit confusing at times, but really that's nitpicking. It wasn't a huge deal. You find out pretty quickly. To be honest, being in the digital marketing world, I don't think there's an easy way around this. But sometimes I was left thinking, hey, where do I go? Where's this link for this certain thing as well? So that's what I was struggling with. So if I were to give a ranking for the tools, I would give an 8 out of 10 for this. Reason being, like I said, the links were sometimes a little bit confusing, but the game changer for me were his Notion templates and the examples that he gave. That was a game changer for me because I didn't have to spend time creating worksheets. I could just literally duplicate the Notion template and use it for my business immediately. It saved me tons and tons and tons of hours, and I could see how much detail that Ali went into, so I didn't have to ask, hey, is this good enough? A game changer, bro. All right, 3, let's dive into the community aspect. Now, community is super, super important, especially if you are a new YouTuber, right? Just because it's kind of overwhelming. You get kind of nervous in front of the camera. For me, I've kind of gotten over this fear, but I know it can be very important for other people. And so I wanted to break down what I thought about the community, what was really great about it, but also keep in mind with my experience this first time around, I was really focused on building out the processes first, not so much networking. So keep that in mind. The first thing is the circle community. I like to think of this as kind of like a Facebook group and Messenger in one, right? It was specific to a program, and it was actually really great. So the people I met in this program were really vast and really crazy. I met actually some people that I watch on YouTube as well. I got to meet them. I got to meet copywriters as well, people in marketing with very, very, very experienced as well. So it was really cool to see that. I actually met this tarot card reader where we just chopped it up over hip hop, and she was telling my future and stuff, which was really, really cool. And I got to meet the man himself, Ali, right? And we started chopping it up, and we would go back and forth on the DMs a lot. To be honest, I probably didn't use this as much as I should have. I didn't really post. I didn't really comment on other people's things. And I really think looking back on it, I should have taken more advantage of the community because that's where the real value of any high-ticket program like this is built. But I would actually commonly from time to time, I would reach out to people, message them and ask, hey, do you want to chop it up? Especially if I saw a kick-ass video from them. So let's talk about the second thing, feedback. Now, it was really cool to get specific feedback from the team as well. It was really, really cool. I really enjoy that because they would kind of not nitpick or shitpick, but they would really provide constructive criticism to make your videos better. For example, I've kind of changed up this background just because since I'm traveling at home, I don't really have the best background at the moment. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to spice it up at the moment. It's better than shooting in against a blank wall. And so I started doing that, and people were starting to comment, hey, your setup looks better. And this is a very basic setup. I'm not doing anything too crazy. So the feedback was really, really great. Now, that was the feedback from the team. And then the community members would also leave feedback as well, discussing, hey, this is what you could have done better. This is what you could have done better. But one thing I always like to keep in mind, especially with community feedback, is like they're not my target avatar, first of all, because there's so many people from all different levels coming into this program. It's hard to separate, hey, what's really useful at this point in time and what's really not useful. Because here's the thing, there's so many people and a lot of them might not be your target audience too. So in terms of community feedback, I would love to kind of see like if there was a way to distinguish people, like kind of give people's background or experience or something like that. That would be really cool as well. So let's talk about the third thing. Let's talk about breakout rooms. What was really cool about this was that Ali would give an assignment. We would sometimes work on it by ourselves for a little bit and then share it with the people in the breakout room, and we would get matched up with random people. I thought this was great because it would actually expose me to different people who were in the community as well. Since I wasn't super active in messaging as many people as I could, it was just really great to see, hey, who I connected with, who I didn't. And then if I really got a good vibe, we'd take it offline too and just chop it up. I would say the one thing I wish I had in the breakout rooms is that I wish I had the assignments sooner as well. Like if I had it ahead of time so I could prepare a little bit more and put a little bit more thought. Sometimes these breakout rooms felt super, super rushed, and I think that was the point. But at the same time, it's just like, man, I just want to put my best foot forward and really get critiqued on the best type of work as well. So that's just my 2 cents. The fourth thing, let's talk about the accountability sessions. Now, in this program, there was an insane amount of support. Like, honestly, I bought a lot of high ticket programs and I have not seen this much support ever. You had Q&A sessions, you had homework club, you had power hour, you had peer support groups. There were so many of these. I went full time into this. I tried to show up to every single meeting, but honestly, it was not possible for me. I was like, I can't do this. It was crazy. I think one person did in the community, but it was ridiculous about how much support that Ali and his team give. And to be fair, guys, you don't need to attend all the support sessions to get the value out of the program. But if you're especially struggling as a new content creator and you need that level of support, just know that you don't have to worry about it. You can just focus on execution because you got all the support in the world. So I thought that was really helpful. Thing was, Ali made support so available that, you know, you didn't have to worry about support. The only thing that you had to worry about is just focusing on getting those videos out, scripting the videos out, and getting in the routine of content creation as well. So let's give it a rank. You know, I know for a lot of people, this course has been life-changing because of the community. But for most people, I would probably give it a 7 out of 10 for them. I think some of the downsides were there was so much noise in terms of feedback. Sometimes by having too much support, sometimes you get in this negative spiral where it's like, man, like I can't make this time, I can't make this time, I can't make this time. And then you start skipping sessions and all that. But for me personally, I would give it a 10 out of 10 because I got to meet the man himself and kind of build up a relationship or friendship with Ali too. So that alone was really, really worth it for me. But obviously your mileage may vary as well in terms of the community and the people that you meet as well. All right, so let's go into my results or what I've actually done with the program. Now, to me, this is actually the most important part because you want to know, hey, what are some of the tangible results? What can I walk away with, right? It's kind of cool, like walking away with friends and stuff, but particularly with the YouTube channel, what am I walking away with? What are the key assets I'm going to produce? And so I want to share all the experiences that I've kind of created as well. And by the way, I think around the 3rd week, I actually shot Ali a video as well in terms of all the results, all the tangible things I've done because of his program. And he even was like, whoa, that's a fantastic production schedule. And he was like, bloody hell, I can't do a British accent, bloody hell, you've really gone above and beyond getting value from this course as well. And so if you guys want to see that, let's fast forward into that clip right now. Hey Ali, what's going on? Kevin here. I just want to shoot you a video based off of my experience so far in your program. And I know we've been chatting on Circle as well. It's been actually really cool just connecting with you, getting your thoughts, talking about high ticket programs. Believe it or not, I'm going to be talking on a virtual summit about how to build and scale and sell your high ticket program as well. So that's interesting, but back to your course. Yeah. Honestly, it's been really, really great so far. It's the most valuable thing for me is just seeing your inner processes and whatnot. Believe it or not, I actually just recently picked up this book, the one that you recommended, The Myth Revisited, because I was never really a processes type of person. I always felt like I was missing something as well, and your program actually plugged in a lot of the gaps as well. And the reason why I have my screen share open as well is because I just want to show you all the stuff that I've built that I'm really, really proud of as well. First of all, we planned out almost all the way until I think this goes all the way until like April. So we have like our content just mapped out from beginning to end as well. And really excited to be getting this up and launched as well and executing on this. Actually, though, I think I went a little too aggressive because my editor is having trouble keeping up at the moment. So there's that. Yeah, and like this process that you had from conception of idea, like yes, these are more labeled and stuff, but like I've been doing your Twitter type of thing. Actually, believe it or not, I never used Twitter before, and I opened up a Twitter just because you mentioned it, and it's been a game changer. I've been following people like Ramit Sethi, a lot of internet marketing people, a lot of people in my industry as well, and just getting so many different ideas from thought leaders, and that's turning into news articles, or sorry, content for my newsletter, content for different aspects of my life too that are super, super valuable. And it never occurred to me to turn my newsletter into a blog post as well. And it's something that I've been writing separate content for, but haven't been intentionally doing that as well. The next thing also, like I copied your branding strategies and all your branding components and being more intentional about that. I actually have I actually model a lot what you mentioned, but I also am having a brand specialist who knows me very well to like put his thoughts in, and I think it's really cool. I might even get a few people from my email list to kind of put their thoughts and interview them and just kind of see what their perspective is as well. The next thing as well, this has also been a game changer, is just having video template. Believe it or not, I was just using a very basic template. I made some modifications. For example, like I have a swipe file of this is actually Tech Lead's, like some of the titles that he uses. There's a few more swipe files I want to throw in, but doing the titles, the thumbnails, I shoot like 20 thumbnails before I nail the right one. And then also I took this framework from How to Get Your Point Across in 30 Seconds, and it just gives me a good idea of like high level what am I trying to do as well. And obviously this remix strategy is so smart. I've always known about the content maximizer strategy from Gary Vee, but it was never, I didn't know how to implement it in like a very cohesive way. And I just honestly never took the time to sit down and do it. But my team and we're going to go live on this very soon, especially YouTube Shorts. Never implemented it before, but you know, if you say it's going to get traction, I'm planning to use that to drive more traffic to my main videos as well. And then target avatars as well. Like me back in pharmacy school. This is actually based off someone who is actually in pharmacy right now who wants to leave pharmacy as well. And then I'm creating a third one, which I'm modeling after everything that you mentioned as well. So basically this is more toward people like you who are thinking about launching high ticket programs. They want to scale them, make them really great. What goes into a great, amazing high ticket program as well. So there's that. But that is pretty much my experience with your program so far. You've done a really great job, even though I know my goal was pretty aggressive. It was to scale 6 figures through YouTube and 7-figure sub count. That's not gonna happen overnight, but I definitely feel like I have the processes to start getting there as well. And now it's just executing. I can just focus on executing rather than toggling back and forth and all that. So that's my response. Long-winded, but I hope you found tons of value on it. All right, so now we're back. And just to add on to that a little bit more is that I've been able to kind of organize my ideas, and I think that was the most important thing for me, is like creating systems to organize ideas. So for example, we actually have a content idea generator where both not only me but my editor can actually find a cool article and just share it to Notion, and then bam, it's on the list of all of our ideas, and we're never out of ideas. I think at this current moment we're sitting at about 70 plus ideas and more as well that we're inputting into our system every single day. So it is really crazy. So we never run out of ideas in terms of my YouTube channel at the moment, and that's because of Ali. I know for myself back in the day, I was just like, man, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what I want to talk about. Now I can just go to my dashboard and just be like, what do I feel like talking about today? Because all these ideas are pretty solid. Some of them are not so solid, but what is something that I really want to talk about today? And that makes my life so much easier. So the second thing is actually having a YouTube dashboard where it's almost like a Kanban or step by step. I can move things over as things progress. I think this was a major game changer for me because it actually helped the communication with me and my editor as well. To go deeper into that, we actually have a new video template, which I modeled from Ali as well. And what was so great about that was I was able to actually script out my videos here and send that information over to my editor as well. Actually, believe it or not, this video was planned about all the speaking points I wanted to do, and it's easy for me to tell my editor, hey, I need this B-roll at this particular moment, or hey, this note is super important for this video. And we almost created like a standard operating procedures, or almost like a checklist of everything that needs to be done in order for a video upload to go out. Believe it or not, guys, it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of behind the scenes of hey, what does it take from zero to finish in terms of uploading a kick-ass video like this? So those were kind of the systems. In addition to other systems, we're actually at the moment creating a B-roll library. So those are those like cinematic type of things. We're trying to get more and more of those, throw them in a folder so we can reuse those assets as well. Also gonna have a thumbnail gallery, especially for my live streams where I'm like things like that. We're doing that just to make our lives easier as well if we're in a pinch to get a thumbnail out. Also, like I mentioned earlier, we revamped our studio quality. I actually have a new light, and I actually changed the lens of my camera as well, so it's a little bit sharper. We get that cool bokeh effect as well. So those are some of the things that we actually implemented. And in addition, this was probably the most important thing, is that we've been able to revamp our thumbnail and title strategy. I copy the same thing as Ali. We write 10 headlines for every single video, and we see what else is online, what's trending at the moment. And then we also test out different thumbnails all the time. So if you look at my thumbnails before, like a year ago, and now, people are saying it's a lot cleaner. I'm trying to learn how to make better thumbnails. I really like the black background and like hyper focused on me. That's been actually showing higher conversion rate or click-through rate on my channel. So knowing those type of things and with the guidance of a lead, that's really helped me out as well. I think the biggest benefit for me is that I can actually hyper focus on making my content better rather than thinking about what do I need to do next? Oh, am I forgetting this? Like, no, it's all there and we can just stay organized. But don't take my word for it. Let's talk to my editor. He'll give his 2 cents too.
Hey, Kevin, thanks for bringing me in the show. Hello, everyone. I'm Dan. And so today I'm just going to share some of my thoughts about the upgrade that we have for the YouTube channel. So I think it's pretty great that whenever I have questions like, what's the next video? When is it going to be uploaded? When do you want to publish this? What are the other things that you want to see? All of these questions are answered in just one page. And whenever I need to trace back and review, what was it again that Kevin wanted? It's all in this page. And so on a broad level, what has improved a lot is the systems, the process, and the standard operating procedures for making things happen. And I think investing in this system, in the process, is very important and very valuable. So I highly recommend for you guys to check out Ali's course if you are interested in developing a better system as well. Because if you're not satisfied with your results so far, then maybe it's time to look at the process. So that's what I appreciate a lot with my work with Kevin, is because he is very intentional on how to make life easier for both of us so that we don't have to keep asking back and forth, where was this? When is this? How do you want this to be? So I hope that helps. Back to you, Kevin.
So now that we've actually finished this 4-week program, let's kind of go into the actual deliverables about what Ali promises on his part-time YouTube Academy as well. So let's kind of dive into a screenshot. All right, so right now we are on Ali's page right now for part-time YouTube Academy, and he gives a story and stuff, but where I really want to focus on is by the end of the 4-week course, and these are the actual deliverables that he promises to you. And I think this is very important because sometimes in a high ticket program, you get to the end and you're just like, man, I didn't get anything that I wanted done as well. And keep in mind as well, this is a done with you program. It's not a done for you program. So a lot of these are contingent on yourself, but we'll go over whether you have the tools, the people, the processes, and tools to actually execute these. So by the end of the 4-week course, you will have started your YouTube channel if you haven't yet, and 4 published videos. Believe me, guys, we did a lot more than 4 videos on my team. We absolutely crushed it in terms of these goals. So I don't know. I think we did maybe week 1, maybe we had 1 or 2 videos. Week 2, we had 1 or 2 videos. And then near the end, we just started publishing every single day after we got these assets out and rolling. So we definitely hit that. The next 3 to 6 months of content planned out, absolutely we did. It was crazy how many video ideas that we published. I think we're all the way down to April at this moment, and we have all that content planned out because of Ali as well. You'll be as comfortable as talking to a camera as you are to a friend. Honestly, I didn't really have this problem before, but I know that it was very game changing shooting like videos to people. Like I would shoot Loom videos, like personal Loom videos to people, and they thought that was such a game changer, and people started shooting them back, and I was really surprised, like especially with the newcomers. It was really great seeing how great of a video that they could produce. I was like, man, I gotta step my video game up because my video game is crap at the moment. So there's that. In terms of recommendations for gear setup for all budget levels, yeah, Ali goes into the specific setup that he uses at all budget levels as well. We pretty much copied almost everything that he did. Only thing that we didn't copy was kind of like the camera, because I already had a GH5. He uses Sony line, which is cool, but you know, I just didn't think it would make sense reinvesting into another camera. But yes, we pretty much copied everything that he did. You'll have a system that ensures you'll never run out of ideas. The idea generation machine, yes, his system is legit, guys. I think this is if I haven't emphasized already, yo, the system, that's what makes or break this program at the end of the day. So yes, there's that. He provides a framework. He not only does the framework, but he also provides a template where you can create templates every single time that you want to make a video that appeals to the audience, that kind of has the same structure, the branding elements. It's a very tight way to incorporate everything as well. He also talks about repurposing. And out of all the modules, guys, I think this was the biggest one. I've always known about the Gary V content maximizer strategy. If you guys aren't aware of it, it's basically, hey, how do I repurpose this YouTube for, hey, an article? How do I repurpose this for a Instagram post, LinkedIn, all these other platforms? So he teaches you how to reuse assets and how to efficiently do this. This by far was my favorite module, so I highly recommend. That was the best one. He goes over monetization as well, like the different types of affiliates and all this. This was, I would say, this was a decent one. It wasn't the mind-blowing one, but this was okay. He also talks about building a team. So like for myself, yes, I hired an editor. I already had an editor prior to this program, but I also, when he talks about a roadmap for editing, I was like, oh man, eventually I need a writer. I need a writer next to script out my videos in the future, or help me do a rough draft or do some research. And so he kind of gave me that insight of all the roles that he's hiring in his organization. And I'm like, I could really take a lot from this, and I can actually use this for my organization too. And he also talks about the important principles and strategies and tools to maximize productivity. I mean, honestly, Ali's a productivity guy, and he talks about deep work, deep focus, these homework clubs. God, the homework club, man, was like game changing. Deep focus sessions have been a game changer for me. Because of Ali, I started actually hosting them on my channel as well. So it's really, really cool. And he talks about how to stay consistent. So yeah, I mean, in terms of these these things, he hits all of them. These are the major deliverables. So if you're wondering if it actually delivers, he provides the tools, he provides the strategies, he provides everything, and he's very transparent about how he actually does all these as well. So in terms of delivery, I give him a 10 out of 10, 100%, because he does all this from beginning to end. All right, so the next section, we're going to talk about who this is for and who this isn't for. I think this is really important. Obviously, you can go on to the sales page at refugeehustle.com/PTYA, see who it's for. He recommends this program for serious beginners, intermediate YouTubers, entrepreneurs and freelancers, and bloggers and podcasters as well. But you can read that. You can do your own research on that. I'm going to give my 2 cents on who I think it's for, who I think it's best for, who would get the most value out of it as someone who's bought a lot of high ticket programs as well. And plus, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I purchased the executive version. So I got to see the transparency across the board and what was helpful and what wasn't helpful. So in my opinion, the number one person who I think this is for is someone who is looking to do YouTube right from the beginning. The transparency behind Ali is like crazy. He gives numbers, he breaks down like the actual templates that he uses, the systems, everything that he does. And whenever I would ask a question, he would just openly give it to us. And I was like, this is so freaking great. So if you're looking to do a YouTube channel right just from the beginning, I think this is for you.
Kevin, you've got a hand. What's up?
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you a question.
Sure.
Or what would be some niches that you would recommend that are, I guess, pretty hot or that are trending, I guess?
That's really hard to answer because
the second person I would probably recommend this for is someone who's just beginning, who needs a lot of support and community. Honestly, a lot of the people in this community are just like Ali. They write very heartfelt messages on my YouTube channel, or they'll send heartfelt messages straight to my DMs. And it was just so warming, like, because recently I told everyone in the group that I quit everything just to do YouTube and just to focus purely on that. And I got so many messages like, hey, I'll contact you on DMs, such loving messages. It really warmed my heart as well. So especially when you are starting out, it can be quite lonely. Your friends might clown on you. Your family is like, what the hell are you doing? Right? And so this allows you to kind of take the burden off your friends and family and just really focus on finding the right support, people who are aligned with your vision, so you can just focus on making kick-ass videos, right? The third type of person I really recommend this for is someone who's really considering to take this seriously. This is you starting YouTube, especially if you want to do it for a part-time revenue stream or part-time business, is not something that you can just like slap together and just half-ass it. It really requires like full attention, even if you're part-time. And I really do feel like a lot of the things that even in the most basic version, you will get full value out of as well, if that's all you can afford. The fourth type of person I would recommend this to is someone who's looking to save their time to build a 7-figure YouTube business, right? Ali gives his templates, his standard operating procedures, his breakdown from start to finish of how he launches a video, and the operation side as well. And that's something that you just don't get visibility on every single day. And the last type of person is someone who doesn't want to feel alone with the YouTube process. It can be quite overwhelming. I mentioned the community earlier, but also like the major thing with Ali's program is that he provides so much support that you never feel alone. And you can, like I said, you can just purely focus on execution. You don't need to worry about, do I have enough support? You're taken care of in that aspect. Now that you know who this is for, it's also important that you know who this is not for as well. Because the truth is, starting a YouTube business is not for everyone. Starting a YouTube channel is not for everyone. And so it's important to really set the expectations up front, just so that you're not disappointed in the end and you feel like you wasted your money. So this is who I believe this is not for. First thing, I don't believe it's for people who can't invest into this program. The reason why he charges a higher premium versus other programs is because this is really high touch. This is not a normal online program that you take, that you go through modules as well. Like, no, this is like a live cohort type of setting, and it feels very, very intimate. I feel very connected to Ali and a lot of the people that I frequently see on the Zooms as well. And for the people who can invest it, you just got to keep in mind that, you know, this is more of a long-term investment. It's not a short, like, you know, hit it and quit it type of thing. This is a long-term investment, and you're really investing to your future block by block. Even in the program, Ali talks about the power of compound interest as well. And this is how you have to think about it. You know, this is a slow build. He is upfront at telling you, hey, it takes about 2 years of creating high quality, consistent videos once to twice per week to get where I am, you know, and that really kind of resonated with me as well. So if you're looking for a quick win, this probably isn't for you. But if you're looking for a long-term investment, that's who should go into this program as well. Again, this isn't a get rich quick off YouTube type of thing. It's really a long investment. You're building block by block, and you're creating essentially digital assets, right? It's almost like a digital piece of real estate, which grows over time. So keep that in mind. The second thing is people who really don't have the time to commit to this program. Like I said, I went full time into this. I try to attend every single lecture that he went to, take advantage of all the programs. It was really hard for me to show up to every single time. There are times where I don't want to show up. It felt like, I was telling my mom, it honestly felt like pharmacy school all over again. So at a bare minimum, I calculated that you probably need about 10 hours per week. So at the minimum, you probably need 6 hours of lecture time and about 4 hours of actually doing the homework, shooting your videos, and doing the brand assets. And that might be on the lenient side as well. As one of my mentors, Mike Kim, says, is that if you're not going to use a program within 30 days, then it's a total waste of money. The whole point of investing into a program is that you're actually going to use it. So making sure that you actually implement and execute and you take full advantage of the program, that's how you're going to get your money's worth. So I would not recommend someone who cannot carve out that time as well. And one important thing is that you don't need to attend every single session live. It's probably better if you do. But if you don't, it's not the end of the world too. There's always the replays that you have for life as well. The third type of person I would not recommend this to is someone who just wants to dip their toe into YouTube, right? This is probably not for you just because YouTube is a very serious endeavor. Part-time YouTube Academy, despite the name, requires focus as well if you want to reap the benefits. You have to keep in mind, this is kind of like a borderline do-it-yourself, done-with-you type of program. It's not done for you as well. No one's going to build your YouTube channel for you. And so if you're looking at this from an ROI point of view, you need to be able to invest the time and energy into creating a YouTube channel as well. But if you're someone who, has a lot of capital, you're not too worried about getting your full ROI, you've always wanted to be a YouTube star, then hey, you can do this anyways and it might be for you. But if we're looking at ROI wise, you might not reap the full benefit of the ROI if you're just dipping your toe into it. And the last type of person who I don't think this is for is someone who is willing to take the time to learn through trial and error. Personally, I wouldn't go through this path because honestly, it gets really discouraging after shooting only almost 1,000 videos and only having 12K followers. It kind of is heartbreaking, guys. And I went through a lot of unnecessary time and unnecessary grind that I didn't have to go through. And Ali himself even tells you hey, you can find everything for free out there. He gives a lot of great references and stuff, but really the value is the community and having everything in one place so that you can execute faster. There's this quote I always like to think is speed loves money and fortune favors the bold. And those are two things that I always think of as well. This program will help you by committing to a program. It forces you to be accountable, right? And take full ownership of yourself and what you can get out of it. And then also you can execute a lot quicker and move a lot quicker as well. It's really a game changer. So the insights of Ali sharing his experience and the insights of his business are the most valuable things that will help you save time as well. So at this point, I've kind of gone over all those specific things as well. And I hope it helps you kind of figure out whether you need this program or not. Now, I am planning to do a part 2, if you guys have a frequently asked questions type of thing. I'm more than happy to shoot a video about any experience, so make sure to comment below. But it's my goal, regardless if you invest in this program or not, is to start YouTube as soon as possible. It's really changed my life because it's helped me secure clients when I left pharmacy. It's helped me open up doors, meet cool people that I would never gotten to meet in real life. Ali is right about one thing. There's this compound effect of YouTube. Things start ramping up. And I went years and years without implementing, feeling lost, and you don't have to go through those same steps as well. So if it makes sense for you, I'd appreciate if you would support the channel through my affiliate link, again, refugeehustle.com/PTYA. And more importantly, if you're in the program, really connect with me. I try to read all the messages, reach out to me through Circle. I'll love if you do that. And also, I'm actually planning to do a review on his Inner Circle, the support program that he has after you're done with Part-Time YouTube Academy. So make sure to consider subscribing if you want to see an update on that. And if you like this video, then you'll probably love the video that I shot on why I took Ali Abdaal's Part-Time YouTube Academy. It gives more of my background as well. And if you're into starting a YouTube, maybe you can't afford Ali Abdaal's program, no worries. I actually have a playlist that I'm currently curating on digital marketing and YouTube marketing as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them down in the comments below. I'll make sure to put it in my ideas, Kanban as well for me and my editor to shoot next time. And I'm planning to do a review of Ali Abdaal's Inner Circle as well. So if you're curious about that, let me know in the comments about what you'd want to see in that type of review. And thank you for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye.
Few more hands. So Kevin, what's up?
What's up, y'all? It's so crazy. When I first heard about your course, Ali, I was like, I've seen this guy a few times, but I don't really know him that well. And my editor was just like raving about you over and over and over again. And it's such an amazing journey to see like what really came out of it. One, I think a huge thing for me was like I got to meet you, but also like for myself, even I haven't told too many people about this, but I recently made the decision to just go full time into YouTube. I dropped all my clients. I'm bleeding money at the moment, but I just want to thank you for just like really giving me the confidence to model from you, to learn from you, from this community as well. Honestly, I've been going through ups and downs every single day. Like, dude, the other day, I was just like, what the fuck am I doing, dude? Like, honestly, am I freaking crazy for doing this and all that? And it's so crazy, like the people I met in this community as well. Like, for example, Bhavani, she gave me a tarot reading. I was like, I'm open for this woo-woo shit, but let's go. But it's because of those, like the generosity of the people I met, like Bhavani, Lisa. There's a lot of other people that have really impacted my life, has really given me the real confidence to proceed forward, to keep on executing, and just to trust the process. Because like for myself too, I was going through a period where I just felt like I was such a failure on YouTube because I've created almost 1,000 videos. So my productivity, like when you show that chart, my heart just drops because I'm like, dude, I've been fucking up this whole time. But I'm just like, man, I guess there's only up from here. So thanks for giving me that hope again, Ali. Just want to let you know that.
No, thank you so much, and thank you for sharing all the tips about various things that we talked about on Circle DMs, which has been like really, really useful for helping things move forward.